What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Culture Blitz podcast. Here in the Culture Blitz podcast, we talk about everything in the world of football. Here today, I'm introducing my two co-hosts, BOP Zone, Jake and Jay. How y'all doing today?
Chilling,
Pretty
bro.
good.
Chilling.
And you guys can catch BOP on Friday on the MisfitTV channel. It's awesome content. Just wanted to put that out there. Awesome. So before we get started, teams opting out of having fans at the games. So previously it was the Packers and the Raiders, and now it's like the Texans, the Saints, obviously the Giants and the Jets, and then the Pats just through September. So it's like before I told you guys like 2 teams, now it's like 8.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's getting kind of scary, and the season hasn't started yet. So any thoughts on that at all?
I mean, I don't think there should be fans at all, because if every stadium was outside, I'd say fine. Because they say that obviously social distance, like limited capacity, like very limited capacity. But then you have like teams, I think like you said, the Saints and the Texans, who are in a dome. And if they can't have any fans at all throughout the entire season because it's not safe to be inside, like they tell you that there's no filtration inside, so you should stay outside when you are around people. I don't think it's safe to have people inside the domes at all. And that would put a few teams at an easy disadvantage that doesn't have to be there if you just played it safe and said no fans at all.
I mean, I guess I'm just not surprised, but like you said, it was like a huge jump, like 2 to 8, and we're probably just getting like the first portion of it. There's probably more coming. I think it's funny that there's a lot of like football town teams that are already talking about like not having fans. Like saying the Texans, for example, right? With them, it's already dicey in terms of their fandom as it is, because like they haven't really seen great football over the last couple of years as it is. But like we know what Texas is about when it comes to something like football, for example. So it's just kind of funny to see those type of teams taking initiative. Maybe funny isn't the right word, but it's one of those things where when you see a place like that and you think of the NFL, you always think of the bottom line. So to know that so many teams are being proactive, and it's a lot of these teams that their communities tend to like thrive off of football being active and everybody being active within football, it kind of just shows how significant of an impact this whole COVID-19 thing still has, even though it seems like everybody is pretending it's kind of low-key over.
Yeah, and like what I've also learned is like with the other teams, like there's other teams that just plan on having like just a 25% like attendance or whatever. So, we'll see what happens. Switching gears into our first topic, the national anthem, players being able to kneel during the national anthem. So I want to ask you guys this question. So do you think that players should be like able to kneel during the anthem?
Yes, to answer the question directly, but I'll flip it back to like both of you guys, because like I was a little confused even when I thought about this question. It's like, isn't it like a little late? Like, you know what I mean? Like they kind of had this shot once.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Kaepernick pretty much threw it up for them to dunk down, and they just didn't take it and actually like shamed the crap out of it. Of course, President Donald Trump got involved in things as well, which of course made things even more controversial than they were before. But this was something that they kind of dropped the ball on when it came to, the kneel together, stand together stance that they had a couple years ago. And even this past year, like we saw little like instances of it here and there, but like it died down as the season progressed. And then it turned into the fist, or, it turned into like some players like maybe choosing to sit, but like you could never really identify if it was because of the anthem or if it was just their normal thing. It just feels like a little too late to me. Like, am I tripping? I mean, social justice is social justice, but like, am I tripping? I don't know.
I think at some point it's like it almost becomes like a pity party. Like, sorry, we messed up the first time. Like, now you can do it. Where it's like at what point is it not really going to be a protest at all if everyone does it? Like we saw this with the NBA, where in like the first seeding game, like you saw pretty much everyone take a knee, and then it was headline news when I think it was like Jonathan Isaac on the Magic decided to stand. And
Yeah.
like that's what everyone talked about because it was like he was a lone man out, and so I don't want it like. I feel like people are gonna start taking kneeling for the flag as like taking it for granted, and they're not gonna see that like yes, it is a protest against social injustice, and I think they're just gonna see it as like the new norm, which I don't think is a good thing for the movement.
The Big Ten and Pac-12 college football postponed their upcoming season. I hope to get back in the spring. I just want to know you guys' thoughts on that, and like, do you think this change will like hurt the college players more than it will like help them? Because you got to think about the draft and the combine.
I really think. I mean, I wish the NFL would also come out and say, okay, we're delaying our season because I think at this point you got all these guys opting out. You've already heard of like a bunch of guys getting like season-ending injuries, which is typical, but it seems like there's a lot more this year, and they're just on like the second day of training camp. I wish the NFL would like suspend the season. Delay the season even by like 2 months. I think that would help. It would give them more time to come up with a plausible like plan that's actually possible for them to carry out. And then it would also let them push the draft back, which I think would help a lot of guys because if they play in the spring, I feel like a lot of the top college recruits are just not going to play because of risk of getting injured. Like if you get injured in the fall, you have time to recover. If you get injured in the spring, your draft stock goes from high to low because teams don't feel like gambling on you unless you're like a proven star, which a lot of guys in college are not as they enter their third or fourth year. If the NFL were to delay the draft, I think it would be a good idea for college football to have a season in the spring. But if not, I don't see there being a really competitive season.
Okay, here's the way I look at it. This is another case of the drop the ball syndrome that I feel like, has been going on when it comes to football, because the issue is you've had months and it felt like this decision kind of just came out the blue as if everybody just decided, okay, let's make a call before school starts and like scramble to make a choice. Like, okay, like literally we have an understanding, right, that when it comes to the NCAA and their control of quote unquote college sports, that is more of like a basketball thing, right? This is more of a NCAA makes money off of March Madness. That's why when we haven't heard any decisions about basketball yet, because guess what? If you jump the gun on pulling away March Madness, they are going to lose a ton of bread. But notice it's a lot easier for someone to either not be involved in terms of the NCAA. They've literally kept out of this in terms of leaving all the Power 5 conferences to make their own choices in terms of what happens. And I understand that every Power 5 conference gets their own kind of money stream revenue from TV deals and merchandising and all that great stuff, which obviously gives them enough power to decide whether they want their students to, participate in their sports or not. They get the call. But it's one of those things where, like, again, you've had months to deal with it. The NCAA literally seems like they're still kind of pouting over the fact that they had to give a couple of states the whole likeness passing in terms of like that law that passed in terms of being, players being able to get compensated for their likeness. It seems like they kind of have taken that and have decided to use COVID as a way to like streamline, like, okay, it's you guys just got what you wanted, but we can either prioritize your safety or we can prioritize your quote unquote new deal, but you have to go out and of course you have to perform in order to get paid. So it puts everybody in a very difficult position, and everybody's back to school shopping with decisions on whether or not, whether or not what they're going to do in general when it comes to sports coming back. I mean, honestly, most kids are kind of confused on whether or not they're going to be on campus for longer than a week just for school, let alone playing a full, handful of games and bowl games on top of that. Like, I don't know, man. College sports in general tends to always be late, and it's happened with basketball too. And I think that's the most unfortunate part about it. Is like it seems like no matter what, like these are grown people, but they're still like kids. If like you get what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, we're dealing with people that like are going to a place for education, yet they're getting thrown out, to the curb with no real guidance, and we're just all winging it right now.
Yeah, and like you said, Jay, it's pretty much like it did come out of the blue. So it's just like now is going to be like constant changes. And like to me personally, like I don't really know like what's going to happen from there, but like I would like expect for them to end up like pushing the draft back, but it's like I know it really is going to like affect the players in some way. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully something comes through. Now, this is the fun part. We're going to do division champ predictions. So we're going to start with the AFC. All right, so we're going to start with the AFC North. So you got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns, and the Bengals. And this one's always like a tough one for me. Like not even like trying to be biased or anything, but like it always comes down to the punch between like two teams in that division. But what do you guys think? Who wants to start?
Hey, Jacob, I'm going to have to take that punch. Okay. All right, Tony. So I got to admit something on the pod real quick. So outside of being a Falcons fan, your boy like the Steelers, bro. So, yeah. So my pops is a Steelers fan. Got that from him growing up. Of course, Atlanta being for the Falcons, born in Georgia. So that's where that stems from. But I have to keep it $150 with you, though. I liked Lamar Jackson since his junior year in Louisville, and I feel like literally all he did was last season was do what he was doing in college, and that scares the hell out of me. Like it literally does, because his ability to create big plays regardless of his throwing the ball, running with the ball, simple flips, just controlling the running game in general, because his ability to run influences how defenses either read him or Mark Ingram was killing last year coming from the Saints. That was like the sneakiest pickup ever, low-key, for you guys. And 14-2 is not something to laugh at either. Now, the way the playoffs went was another story, obviously. But in terms of regular season games, I still feel like on a week-to-week basis, everybody is trying to figure out how to stop Lamar. And I feel like every time someone says they think they have the blueprint, this happened when you guys played against the Chargers a few years back. And everybody was saying, oh, they got him clamped up, bring Flacco in the game. And later on throughout the game, Lamar continued to kind of prove that, like, oh, give him time. He can work his way through. I just feel like as this season progresses, as he gets better as a passer, the whole rest of the league is going to be screwed. And, like, I could be a Steelers fan all I want to, but this man strikes fear into my heart for real. So I take the Ravens, but I don't like the pick. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying Ravens hands down. They only got better this offseason. And if you look at the division, we're still waiting on the Browns to somehow put the pieces together. They seem like they just don't. I mean, they have good pieces. They got Jarvis Landry, Odell. But I'm still waiting for Baker to really take that step and become, what was he, the number 3 overall pick?
Number 1, dude. He was taken at the top of the
Homeboy
draft.
was number 1. Yeah, it was so crazy.
Homeboy working with a Madden 20 team right now, bro. He just got to get it down pat, for real.
He's not playing. He has not played like a number 1 overall pick his entire career, despite having – I mean, he reminds me of a Mr. Prescott over in the NFC East with all the weapons around him, and he can't do anything with it. So if the Browns somehow flip the switch, maybe they'll put up a little fight with the Ravens, but I don't see it happening.
All right, now, see, Jay, you said you was a Steelers fan, right? So I guess it's pretty obvious here. I have my shirt, my Ravens shirt on right here. So I am a Ravens fan, but I do want to break this division down a bit because it can always go either way, except the Bengals. The Bengals are like out of the picture.
Facts. Don't like them, bro. Don't like them, bro. Nah.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, with me, obviously, like I think it'll come down to pretty much like the Ravens and the Steelers because their defense, the Steelers' defense is just crazy scary. Like, I mean, like the Ravens' defense is good too, but like the Steelers, you know what I mean? They have like fast, like all over the field, like
I mean,
speed everywhere.
that was our bright spot last year. I mean, without Ben,
Yeah.
Juju in and out of the lineup, running back carousel like crazy. I mean, guys like Bud Dupree, Watt, all of them were going crazy on the defensive end, and picking up Minkah Fitzpatrick midway through the year might have been like the lowest of low key type of things because everybody in terms like low like I'll be honest. So I'm gonna just put myself on Front Street. I thought it was dumb as I don't know what when it first happened. I had no clue where to go with it. My first idea is we need a wide receiver ASAP. We could the draft was deep with them as we had saw, and a lot of them fell to double-digit picks, and we kind of already knew that was going to happen. So the fact that we gave a pick away, knowing how desperate we are, kind of in that position specifically, to give a pick away. Minkah Fitzpatrick started off by like having like 4 picks in his first like 2 or 3 games, and I'm like, okay, whatever I said, throw it out the window. I'm cool. Him and Joe Hayden in the back. That's all I need, honestly, to hold things down. I think the question and the reason why I said I don't like the Ravens pick, but I know why I made it is because Ben returning has 2 ways that it can go. This is the life of a Steelers fan 101. There's you're gonna get all 16 games and he's gonna eat, but he's gonna get injured here and there and be out of quarters here and there, or out of series here and there. But he's gonna play all 16 games. He's gonna eat, and we're gonna have a top 5 offense in the league where he's spreading the ball around and doing his thing. And then there's the other version, which is the one where we get him for about 6 games, and for the next 10 games, we're hearing about how he's talking about coming back. But we never see that man come off the sideline, and our team is struggling. Now, we went 8-8 without, I guess, our lead quarterback. We literally lost Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown basically what felt like in the same week and still cracked 500. Ben and his ability to stay healthy, which literally is like a double entendre in itself because literally you can't get Ben without him getting hurt half the time, it feels like. His ability to stay on the field and our running game with guys like James Conner in the back and McFarland, who we picked up actually from University of Maryland, those 3 are going to dictate how far this whole thing goes. Because Juju as a lead wide receiver was a great experiment, but I think Ben's ability to get the ball to the running backs out the back, just be healthy in general and give defenses something to worry about, that's a lot to bank on. The Ravens have Lamar Jackson, and there's no – playing around with him. So, I mean, I like my team. It's just I feel like the Ravens situation is just a bit better lined up for this season.
Yeah, and I was going to say pretty much like with the way you guys, the Steelers, the way their defense is so good with Big Ben coming back, it kind of brings unity to that offense. So if he can stay healthy, it can be scary. But yeah, I would have to go with the Ravens as well. But I wouldn't sleep on the Browns either. Because,
I'm still a little asleep, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll do the AFC. We'll do the AFC West next. So we got the Chiefs, the Broncos, the new Oakland. Is it not Oakland? Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Jake,
this is another good one. Who wants to start? Go ahead, Jake.
Jake, what's up with it?
I mean, I hope you agree with me on this one, Jay, when I say the Chiefs are going to run away with this division like they did last year. The Raiders are still waiting on Derek Carr to blossom into what they thought he was going to turn into. I don't even know. I think Tyrod Taylor or no, the Chargers, they got some guy in the first round or second round, a quarterback.
Justin
He's not
Herbert.
gonna. Yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah.
not.
Yep.
He's not their immediate answer. I think down the road he can develop, especially behind Tyrod Taylor, who was a backup in Baltimore for a few years. He's a scrambling quarterback. Herbert is too. So if he can develop behind Tyrod Taylor for a while, they have potential. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes. Like Patrick Mahomes. That's enough. That's all you need to say. It's Super Bowl champions. Their one position of running back that it seemed like was iffy all season. They got Edward Hilaire out of LSU in the first round. I don't think there's anyone stopping them, at least in the AFC West.
Dude, I don't know if this whole division just decided to tank it out. I'm not sure what's up, but like I know my boy Phillip wasn't that cool for the Chargers last season. Had a lot of I think like 20 picks last season. But I mean, is the second best quarterback in this division Tyrod Taylor? Maybe. You see what I mean? Like I don't even feel like entirely confident about that. I can say that I feel like the second best player in the division that's not on the Chiefs would probably be I think it honestly would be Tyrod. If not, it could be Derek Carr. Here's the question. Here's the question to ask yourself when you look at this division. The real question I feel like is who is gonna take 2 games from the Chiefs? And that's the issue that I truly see when it comes to them. I don't see either one of these teams in this division taking 2 games. I struggle with even taking 1. And I feel like that's the dilemma here, right? Is in terms of being able to win your own division, if you can go 6-0 in division play, you're going places. And Jake, you summed it up perfectly, and it's pretty much the same place I'm gonna leave it off. Patrick Mahomes, bro. Like what are you supposed to do after that? Like, I don't know, man. It's really, I literally feel like there's not much that you can do. I like the Chargers defense. The Raiders had a great year from the running back position, and that was something that's promising. The Broncos, I literally think they lucked into second place. So, I mean, putting that all together, I don't know, man. Chiefs in 3.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Like the Chiefs are definitely going to take it, but yeah, like you said, that is a good question that I was thinking of as well. Is like, all right, will the other teams in the divisions be able to pick up a win over the Chiefs, if any, or will they just sweep? You never know. But it'll be an interesting division, to see like play against each other. And also, I do think the Broncos probably will come in second place. They will probably be next up if you kind of think about it. I kind of forgot they have Von Miller on that team.
Right. I had to double check. I'm like, dang, this man ain't requested trade yet. Sheesh.
Yeah, but they do have Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay, so they have a nice little backfill going, and Drew Lock. So we'll see.
We wait.
Just drafted Henry Ruggs.
Oh,
what'd you say?
Didn't they got Henry Ruggs, right?
Yeah, from Alabama.
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah.
They might be sneaky. Sneaky. Okay.
On the come up.
All right.
All right. This one here is the most interesting. I really want to know what you guys think of this. So we're going to do the AFC East. So you got a team that's pretty much been just obviously taking a division for like the past 20 years, I would say, if that. And you got the Bills, Jets, and then obviously the Dolphins. How do you guys see this playing out with Cam Newton in New England? And, do you think things will be different this time around?
Man, I love my boy Cam, but this is a little bit awkward, my boy. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, they got players opting out so much. They look like the Brooklyn Nets right now. I mean, they just trotting out anybody they can put up there. I'm going to be kind of short and sweet with this one and say the Bills, man. I feel like the Bills did a lot of great things last season. Really, really extremely solid defense last year. Picking up Stephon Diggs, I think might have been the key to the castle that they needed for real. I really think that they needed a guy who could take the top off of the defense, really truly you know, give Josh Allen someone to rely on third down. This is one of those things where, Josh Allen was one of two people. The guy who could throw a 60-yard deep pass for a touchdown, or a dude who, for his size, oddly could like run the ball extremely well. And it was really crazy to see. So I think that the Bills have a really big step in front of them, and I feel like they can really do their thing this season.
I don't know. For me, I still find it hard. Like, I feel like I do it every year where I'm like, oh, the Patriots, like, Brady's like 40 years old. Like, they don't have enough weapons around him. Their defense is average outside of Stephon Gilmore. But I still, like, I feel like I don't want to get fooled again by them. I still think Belichick, as much as I hate the Patriots, I still think they're going to find a way to win the AFC East, whether it's through cheating as they've done in the past,
or
through Cam having a breakout season.
He's my new favorite person.
I just find it hard to bet against the Pats. But I am excited to watch the Bills. I am excited to watch the Bills this season.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of crazy. Like for me too. Like it's kind of been the same. Like the past maybe 3 or 4 years. I would be like, oh, maybe they won't win their division this year, and they always end up finding a way to do it. So it's like, I don't know if that it could continue just because it's been happening for so long. I don't really think the loss of Tom Brady will affect it just because of how their division is set up. But it could go any way, like you guys said, with the Bills. Like I'm actually excited to see how the Bills play this season because I easily think that they could take it, but I would have to go with the Patriots too.
Yeah, they always drop the ball late. But, I mean, like Jake said before, I feel like you start counting the Patriots out, and then they remind you that they have something in their arsenal. Last year, we thought it was Tom Brady being too old, and we found that their defense was top 3 in the league in pretty much every category, and that pretty much carried them along the way. And, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see their division all around just because I feel like it's a little bit more wide open than it's ever been. Yeah. But like Jake said, I'm walking a tightrope in terms of going against it, but I'm gonna keep going at the well till it go dry. So like I said, I'm gonna stick with the Bills, but boy, come week 16, we'll just have to see because you never know with that division for real.
We'll just have to see. So, and last but not least, we'll do the AFC South. So you got the Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans, the Colts, and the Jaguars. This division always flip-flops so much. So this is probably a tricky one. I don't know what you guys think. But I'll actually go ahead and start on this one. I think I don't know. The Colts are kind of on the creeping up. Obviously the Texans are always in the picture, but it always flip with them and the Titans. But I think with the way the Titans played last season that they might be able to take it because the Texans lost DeAndre Hopkins, obviously. I think that will affect that. So I have the Titans taking the division. And because they still have Derrick Henry as well. So could be scary.
I mean, I can't fight that. I mean, the Titans were scary last season, and obviously come postseason, they just took everybody off guard. Like, I didn't see the Titans coming for anything when it came to last season. But I'm going to be honest. I gave this one a good little thought before, I just leaned into it. And then I did, and I looked a little bit further in. I like the Colts. I only like them by, maybe a game. I'm not going to lie. But I think picking up Phillip Rivers, that's definitely a better passer or passing option than Jacoby Brissett. Granted, Phillip can't run like Jacoby can, but I feel like Phillip's ability to throw the ball is significantly more valuable than Jacoby's ability to run the ball. I think that having T.Y. Hilton, Mac, they have one of the better offensive lines in the league, which I feel like will help an older quarterback like Phillip Rivers in terms of distributing the ball.
They have Frank Gore as well.
Yeah, I mean, and age just wonder. Let's be real. Like that dude,
Yeah.
I feel like you'd have to look up his age every year to make sure that you're getting it right. I mean, this is a team that I feel like is built for a really good run. And I mean, last year, I feel like they were just affected by injuries. It felt like they were always kind of moving between Jacoby and pretty much others in terms of the quarterback position because I mean there was a game I believe against the Texans where they were down to their third string quarterback came that game. I mean, I feel like their biggest issue was that they just didn't have consistency at that position. I also think that Phillip Rivers linking back up with Frank Reich is going to be huge because some of his best years in San Diego slash Los Angeles was with Frank Reich at the helms at the offensive coordinator position. So I feel like that link up might be like just the spark that Phillip needs to kind of get things back in gear. And he definitely has a better overall, I would say, supporting cast than in LA. Although I would say there's debates in terms of the defense, but I feel like offensively, it's a little bit more well put together for what he needs around him. So Colts by like a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you. It's like a fragile pick because you got all these moving parts, and you have Marlon Mack who missed games last year. I think he broke his hand. You have T.Y. Hilton who has seemed to battle hamstring injuries the past like 4 seasons. Um, and Phillip Rivers, in my opinion, he's not the answer in Indianapolis, but he is a temporary solution and an immediate upgrade from Jacoby Brissett, who they had last year. And I don't think anyone in this division is capable of making noise in the playoffs. But I do see Indianapolis coming out on top. Like you said, Quentin Nelson is already one of the best guards in the league. They have a pretty good offensive line. Um, I think they have like Zach Paschal as a wide receiver. He's young. I can see him blossoming into something good. And I don't know. I'm excited to watch the Colts and see how Phillip Rivers does. I think he definitely has a better supporting cast. My biggest question mark is just his age.
It's also just weird to say Phillip Rivers and the Colts at the same time.
Right. Yeah, Jay, you bring up an interesting point though with and Jake you do as well. With Phillip Rivers being around just like a different team, I think he has a new set of like people around him to help him play better because versus where he was at before. But we'll see. I mean, I think the help of T.Y. Hilton, I think T.Y. Hilton will help him out a little bit as well when it comes down to the passes and stuff because he threw a lot of interceptions previously. And, T.Y. Hilton is more of a deep threat type of receiver. So I don't know. We'll see. So that was, the playoff predictions. So question of the day here. What's your favorite team and do you think they will be successful this season? Like, comment, subscribe below. I'm Tony, Jake, Jay. Thank you guys. Peace out.
Jeez.